today? Oh, I'm still in for my cyberpunk little apartment here. I don't know if I've got a good one for the modernish day. Let's see. First of all, sound. There we go. We want to take this from Chrome. Yes. I think that was the right one. Yeah. That's the one. I could probably go up a little bit. There we go. How are you all doing? It's Saturday. The glorious day that is the day after Friday, but before Sunday. Literally the best day of all the days, because you don't need to work today and you don't need to work tomorrow, which is good. We like that. Unlike Sunday, which is, you know, whilst you don't have to work on Sunday normally, you do have to work tomorrow, which of course means going to sleep and waking up and knowing that ahead of you is nothing but having to listen to people tell you what to do and all the rest of it. Oh dear, here I am trying to sort out. I'm going to find out a cabling solution for the overhead camera thing, because delicately balancing wires on top of the phone and hoping they don't get in the way is probably not the one. Yeah, so today, Delta Green. Though we're not in Delta Green, and we're not in Pisces. We're in just sad, unfortunate lifetimes for the good sir. Yeah, that's the one. The good sir. So let's just reset the date to set current date. I can't remember the exact date we had it in. We just knew it was in July, is what I know. I don't think the date was very important when we first started, but let's set the date to the 7th of July 1998. That sounds good to me. So I was playing Delta Green the other day with my friend, and he is playing a kind of consultant, as in like doctor consultant, and he's sat there going, okay, cool, right, in the first adventure we just ran the kind of default one out of the book that we were talking about a few weeks ago, and the guy that he went with, an FBI agent, got killed. Because he's also a doctor consultant person, he's kind of difficult to just center adventures around himself, because kind of it's our filler game at the moment. But so his FBI friend got killed in his first gig, and on his second engagement, one of his colleagues gets a weird parasite thing in her arm, and he has to kind of like cut her arm off. So she's kind of out of action. And then his last colleague, they were tailing this bad guy. The bad guy caught onto them, and they ended up having to go to his compound, and the guy invited them in for dinner. And of course, he kind of captured. He took the assistant off to one side, and he kind of had this feast with the good consultant, the good doctor. And of course, the heavily implied the feast that they're enjoying is parts of his colleague. Now he manages to escape, and he just legs it, because I give him an option. Right? He manages to get a really good luck roll. He got like the only good athletics roll he managed to get, and he got a really good luck roll. And he was like, "I'm going to give you two choices. You can either find your friend, your colleague. Friend's going a bit far. You can find your colleague, or you can just leg it." And he just legged it. And so it ended with a scene of like the kind of eating part of his arm and part of his leg and served it up. But the last scene is kind of like his colleague getting kind of magicked somewhere. So yeah, good times were had. He greatly enjoyed it. So yeah, it was funny. I thought it was a good set of sessions. So yeah. If we remember where we were last time, let's get Obsidian open as well, because we've got notes in Obsidian, don't we? We do. We were very, very diligent and took notes and everything. What I need to actually do in my notes is I need to make a folder to keep all the 2023-08 stuff in. Otherwise, my folder is getting messy. Cool. Where were we? Delta Green, not Dungeons and Dragons, Delta Green, July 98. So, we're in the Lake District, near Keswick, in Cumbria. So we're currently, in fact, in the Lake District, because we've just picked up, we're driving to the station, right? Because there's this Tory, upper-class toff, who's murdered his family, covered in blood. We've been informed, we were called by his assistant, Davin Smith. Well, the police were called by his assistant, Davin Smith, and we've been called in as the detectives. We have an assistant. Let me just hold on. I've got a tea bag that I need to deal with because, you know, British. We need to deal with a tea bag. Stick it in there on top of a D&D 5th edition rule screens, because we don't need them. Because we don't play 5th edition here. We might do at some point. We might do something 5th edition? Oh, I should probably change my chat from top chat to not top chat to every chat, all the chatters. That's trying to moan. Always, I'm fascinated to see how, you know, next time a human being turns up and tries to have a little conversation with a dungeon slime, how I'm going to end up missing it that next time. But hopefully I won't miss it this time. It's up there. It won't disappear, unlike last time where it did disappear and I didn't know how to get it back. But that's good. It's there. Hopefully I'll see it, and we won't miss anyone ever again. So other things that we know. So and you know, some of the stuff is sacrificial. Our dude doesn't really know anything about this kind of thing, and we're using parts of. Let's see how well I managed to blind set up my camera. Camo capture main. That one? Almost. You got a little bit too much of that, and we're not really low enough. About that. Yeah. I got this from a Spanish man. You understand. So, we've got some dice. Donk, D100 system. Donk, we've got the Solo Investigator book. Oh yeah, this is just annoying. I really seem to have done this in the most irritating way I possibly could have, because this probably works best if I'm going like so. Alright. To try and get as much of it on the screen at the same time. I'm going to sneeze, I think. No, yes. Yes. Yeah, that was a sneeze. Let's just bring this back a bit. No, forward a bit. Slide a bit. Well, you just have to enjoy the Dutch angle that we've got going on here with this stuff, right? It's gonna be fine. So, yeah. Sometimes your story will flow smoother if you just decide. So yeah, we'd gone there, we'd encountered the initial scene, and now we are... Oh, another thing that I discovered whilst I was looking around just a minute ago is, what was it called? Oh, I don't know. I've closed Drive Through RPG. There's another Cthulhu Modern setting set up, which is kind of an open source SRD. So we might have a look at that at some point, because maybe that'll be fun. It's a D100 one, so it's probably a version of BRP, which is the underlying system for Cthulhu and Delta Green. Cool. And with that said, let's also go to the actual character. Solo, Philip Butler. Let's just open up Chrome. We're not using Roll20 today, we're using Foundry. And here's the character. Philip Butler, Detective Inspector. Detective Inspector Butler. And his friend, not friend, his colleague. Where have I put his colleague? Is his colleague under here? No, that's the Castle of Caldwell. Oh, there he is. And his colleague, Henry Wellington, the private schoolboy who does computers, pretty much, rugby lad. So we are good at alertness. We're pretty alert. We are good at persuading people of stuff. We're good at searching for stuff. We're not too shabby in the old punchy. And yeah, that's probably the limits of Oh, and good at searching. Did I say search? I can't remember. Cool. So what's going to happen is we're going to drive back to the station house, and we're going to interview. We're going to interview Mr. Rigby. I think that's his name, Rigby. It is Harris, even Reginald Harris, not Rigby. So let's just bring up our notes. Obsidian, yeah. And we need to make it look at the right part. Obsidian. There we go. Our notes in progress. Cool. Chrome. One thing I often wonder about is I don't think there is, but I was wondering whether or not there was a way to make it. Oh, maybe it's blending mode. Blending method, blending mode. I don't know. Oh, like so. There you go. That's an option. Blending mode. Screen. What does that do? Oh, that's blending mode. Subtract. Oh, that's not what we want. Blending mode. Add. I don't know what that looks like on a normal screen. Don't know if that's just irritating or if it's good look. Like if it was like just a little bit darker, that would be pretty cool. But I don't think there's a. I don't think there's an option. Blending mode. Multiply. What does that do? Oh, that's definitely not what we're after, isn't it? We definitely don't want that one. Blending mode. Let's just leave it normal. Normal. For now. and let's just hide it when we're not using it. So, but we're requesting information from BT, and he has a mistress, but we don't know about it. For Wyatt, of a family with a wife and 2 teenagers. He's got his PR assistant Davin Smith and the journalist Sally Wiseman. And we'd met Sally at the scene, but not spoken to her because we're professionals. Cool. So we're basically driving to the scene. Not that we're driving to the station house, and we're going to interview him. Now, for the contrivance of the narrative. So for some reason, Butler is convinced on some level that he really doesn't remember why he did what he did, and there's more at play than meets the eye, right? So Butler is like, well, we've got to. So they do the interview. We're going to ask, did if we have quick references, auditory effects, clues, dangerous scenario, asking questions, right? So our main question is make a D100, ask a yes/no question. So there's a big old maybe in the middle, and I don't like that. I don't like maybes. Maybes irritate me. Maybe return camo on for a second. Oh, this is out of view. Has everything moved around a bit? Maybe it's just because I've got obsidian out the side, it feels like it. Weird. Okay. So, the question is... why? You get to see the weird corner of my room. Top of my PC. So the question is, do we get any clues from the interview? 59. Maybe. That's utterly useless. So 60 to 100 is yes. So we're going to say yes, we get a clue from the interview, and 45 is a clue apparently. Page 45, 27, 55, 31, 35, 39, 43, 42. Clue table. This clue table isn't the kind of clue table we're looking for, is it? No, that's not the kind of clue table we're looking for. So, generate a problem, quest received from, we're good with all this. Character occupation tables, development tables, discovery tables, danger tables, mythos points. So mythos points get added to our rolls when we're trying to determine what's going on. Again, we're just learning the procedure. As life goes on, we will get better at this. Basic stats. Not interested in stats right now. Monster characteristics. Ooh. Verb table. Okay, well maybe maybe we'll roll on the verb table a couple of times, shall we? Rumours table. Effects. Random events. And then location tables. Okay, so let's just roll. Let's roll some verbs, shall we? This is a D500, just because they like to be difficult. So this dice is for 1 to 5s. So that's 177. Distress. Okay, yeah, fine. And 324. 324 loot. That is meaningless. Well, I think. Yeah, from that he seems generally confused by the situation. Come out of the interrogation, and Butler's sat there and he's kind of stroking his chin. He's still got a kind of 5 o'clock. So he's got like proper 5 o'clock stubble going on because he didn't have a shave in the morning. And he's like, I don't know, something's definitely strange here. And Wellington's like, well, surely it's just either he's lying or maybe it's just shock. And he's like, it's possible, but why does someone who's on the up and up, a man of Mr. Reginald's caliber and qualities, why would he do such a thing? It's most unusual, and we're going to have to wait for the drug reports to come in, the toxicology reports. So until then, we're going to have to find out who he's had contact with, and all we're going to have to find out who he's had contact with, and we're going to have to do some research as to his recent moves. And so they phone up. They go to, even because people don't have mobile phones. It's the mid to late 90s. So some people do, but they go to Mr. Davin's office. Right, and at Mr. Davin's office, we're gonna have a bit of we're gonna ask him some friendly questions. So if we merge with this, does it have a situation table? So this is built slightly differently, with different kind of random events drive things. But if we merge it with the simplicity of the one-page system, and we say that our move is going to be that we go to the next scene is going to be them going to Davin Smith's office and getting Mr. Harris's movements, his agenda for the past month or so, okay, describe what your character is and roll the dice, right? So a 2, an obstacle blocks our way, right? So we meet Mr. Davin, and you just go, detectives. No, he flashes his badge, goes and is the receptionist, Davin Smith here, and she's the lady's like, oh yes, of course. Let me just get him. And she it's a small office. It's like, it's a one receptionist, maybe like a couple of small officers. She's mostly there to make the tea for them. It's like the thick smell of cigarette smoke in the air. And she presses a button and is like a yes, this is, what is it, Doris? And she's like, there's two detectives to see you, Mr. Smith. Oh, right, very well, send them in. Then we go in, and he's a young, a young, well-built man with a kind of chiseled features to him. 1 second, let me just check something. I think someone's... No one has said anything important. My normal IRL, well, my normal other GM other than me is going blind at the moment, or something to that effect, and so I'm running lots of weird ad hoc games. More Delta Green tonight, I presume. Anyway, so yeah, and Davin is this kind of clearly again one of the rugby boys. With that mentioned, I think it's likely that Wellington knows him. So, does Wellington know him? Yes. And his rare modifier? No. Like, Henry, my good chap. How are you doing? And Davin. I heard that you were in. You said you were in PR, but I had no idea that you were working for this reputable outfit. And he's like, yes, of course. And they have a moment, and Butler goes, and they turn and sorry, just rugby. And he's like, of course, rugby. And he goes, okay, we'd like access to Mr. Smith's. Yeah, Mr. Smith's. No, Mr. Harris's agenda for the past month, and Davin is like, I'd love to help, but the just a couple of days ago, Mr. Harris had me return had me give him most of his diaries because he was apparently working on putting together some memoirs. So I presume they're still at his property, and Butler makes a I see. So do you know off the top of it, can you note down some of the engagements that he's had over the past month or so? Anyone unusual, anyone suspicious, anyone who seems out of the ordinary for someone of Mr. Reginald's stature to be communicating with? And so his question is, yes or no? Is he able to do this? Yes or no? I suppose it's probably even 6. So yes, you can. So he's going, of course. Let me just write some down some of the names. There was one particular. So was there any one that? Couple of things, right? Is Henry part of a conspiracy? And I think this is even. So is Henry part of a conspiracy? No. Okay. So, does Henry think anyone on the list is unusual? Again, 50-50, right? Yes. Okay. Who does Henry note as being a bit unusual? So we can use the character. the NPC table here to figure this one out. D100, 35, 35, journalist. Okay, 35. He'd been talking to a journalist. Well, we know who this has to be, right? This has to be Nancy Jones. Keyword modifier 65. Frightened. Which doesn't strike me as frightened. Maybe he was frightened. Okay, cool. Oh, well, so it turns out that they've been speaking to Nancy Jones. So it's two things here, right? A couple of things that we found out. Let's bring up Obsidian. Through this little bit of investigation. Also, so we've got requesting toxicology report. Requesting forensics report. These are all things that are requesting. The forensic report requesting autopsy. Though that's probably all pretty straightforward. The last one, anyway. So next, we've just found out that first off, Davin Smith is a rugby boy with Henry. And let's just make sure we put in here PR man, assistant DI. Okay, right. Now we found out that also Davin. This is for us as a ref to know. Davin isn't part of the conspiracy. And I think at the same time, probably have a human intelligence role from Philip. Yeah, so Philip believes that he's telling the truth. So Philip doesn't suspect Davin as part of the conspiracy. So that's good. Oh yes, and we've also found Harris, Reginald Harris was meeting Nancy Jones, and he was frightened. Another thing, have we learnt anything else? Have we learnt anything else important? We learned quite a few important things. So Davin Smith isn't a suspect, as far as we're concerned. Cool. I don't think we found anything else. Okay, right. So let's advance the clock a bit. So we're going to say this is about 4 PM on the. Is this the right table? Yes, this is the one. Cool, it's hot. It's hot. 30 degrees in. Is the settings right? Well, that's New York City, so that's wrong for a start. Cumbria, and it's what's the date? What is the date? The date is Hourglass, clear weather. No. Sorry, I'm in Foundry at the moment, just trying to find the little bit and the little piece and the little whatchamacallit. It's for notes, isn't it? Let's see. It's for 7th. Okay. 07/07 1998. The preview weather. Okay. That's more like it. And it's probably No, right, well, we'll select weather on the day. So this one. So it's 17 degrees Celsius. That's a far more normal temperature for England, even in the summer. Particularly out there in the wilderness. So we'd gone to the scene. We've interviewed Matey Boy. I'd say it's probably about 5 p.m. now. So we won't get a report on the toxicology report. Will probably come back by tomorrow morning. But we're going to go and interview. We're going to go talk to. We're going to go talk to the journalist Sally Wiseman, not Nancy Jones. Not Nancy, Sally Wiseman. Oh, of course, this could be about the mistress, right? Okay, let's go meet. Nancy's easy to meet, right? Because she is. She, in fact, what a surprise! She's probably just like outside of. So the next thing they leave, and Sally is taking photographs of the car, and Butler looks at her with a stern look. He's like, Ms. Wiseman, it's find anything interesting? She says, pulling out a little notebook, and he looks at her and goes, no, not at all. Though, have you been having interactions with Mr. Harris? And she's like, well, if I did, that would be covered by journalistic integrity. And Butler looks at her and goes, well, that might be the case if he was alive, but now that he's dead, I think that if we believe that you had something to do with it, perhaps you'd be far more interested in making sure that you cleared your name. And she looks at him. Please, if we compare notes, perhaps we can help each other. And she's like, off the record, and he's like, always off the record, says Butler. Well, let's also give a persuade roll here, right? So, persuasion. Let's have a little persuasion. Persuade, it's something he does very well. He persuades her. And so, this is good. The question here is, was her story about Nancy Jones? And I think it's likely that it was. Right? I think it's likely that he got in touch with her because she was going to write a report about his infidelities. But we'll see. 6. So that was indeed it. And is there a modifier? No. So, she tells them about Nancy Jones, and he tells her some reasonably innocuous things about the case, but once he, they'll keep in touch. Now, I didn't roll for any modifiers for this scene, so 4. An NPC acts suddenly. Well, that's almost just in turn with what. Although an NPC acts suddenly, right? Have we got a list of our active NPCs? We don't. So we should probably make a list of our active NPCs. NPCs. So we've got Nancy Jones. We've got Davin Smith. We've got Reginald Harris. We've got Henry Wellington. Have we got any more? Nancy Jones, Davin Smith, Reginald Harris, Henry. Oh yes, we've got Sally Wiseman. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll roll a d6, and if it's a 6 we re-roll, and if it's Sally Wiseman we probably re-roll. 3. Reginald Harris suddenly acts. Okay. Well, we're going to say that he in a wild frenzy. No, that's what he does. He unalives himself. Right? That's what he does. So yeah, that's what he does. That would make sense. So what he does is he somehow what does he do? What does he do? Well, the question is does he, and from a meta perspective, is he doing it himself or is he compelled to do it by something else? So I think this is a 50-50 roll. Let's let you see it. No, not that one. No, this one. Yeah. So, again, 50-50, 4. Oh, goodness, I didn't ask the question, did I? Oh, no, we did, right? No, we didn't. So the question is he being compelled? Yes. Right, so he basically grabs a pen, a pencil, and shoves it through his eye. And, like, screams and passes away. In hospital. Whilst we're off scene, because of course, again, no mobile phones, right? What happens is after as they're just finishing up talking to Sally Wiseman, a police car drives up, and a detective gets out and kind of like semi-jogs up to Butler and whispers in his ear, and he's like, and Sally's like, oh, what's that? And he goes, looks like Mr. Harris has taken it upon himself to exit stage left, he says, and he heads off. So that probably rocks as a so it was still about 5 p.m. So yes, and she tells him about Nancy Jones, right? So the mistress, and he phones into goes to a police gets on the police radio in the car, and he asks for her address, and he gets her address, and so he heads over to see see what's going on with her. So, now, next question. Is Nancy Jones part of a conspiracy? 50-50. No. It's weird. Okay. So, they go and interview her. She doesn't have any interesting information. And that's a quick one, I think. So if anything happen, no, not really. An obstacle blocks your way. It's like, this doesn't make any sense a lot of the time. It would make a lot more sense in some settings than other settings, but the cultists or whatever's going on, it isn't going to directly attack the police, right? They're not going to directly irritate the police. So, with our main human lead also now being expired, and the BBC and East Anglian, not East Anglian, and the Welsh news services, and the place is starting to fill up with reporters. In fact, that's almost the obstacle, right? He's got to avoid these police because he's got to avoid the various reporters that are starting to appear in town. So he does, and much to his continuous irritation, we will. He's not trying to disguise. Next, so he goes to talk to her. She's just it's just his bit on the side, right? So that's what's going on there, and she doesn't have anything to do with the rest of it. So there's still the culprit. So with that, what we're going to do, that kind of day kind of starts coming to the end. So now I feel like we're going to have to fall back on the procedure as outlined in here, right? So we add the current mythos points to our rolls. So the story direction table, we're going to have to roll a d100 on this to see what happens. +1, because we've got... Oh, fiddlesticks, I've just thrown the dice across the floor. $83. That's taken us right into the extreme, then. 83. Oh, right. Dice roll. Here's where a little randomness happens. Roll a d100. $77. Something happens. Roll on a random event table. So we're back at home. Butler's kind of like just finished having dinner. He's thinking about the case. And a random event occurs. So random and mysterious events. Some of these random events are depicted on dependent on certain conditions. If your investigator is not in that situation, change the nature of the event to match the situation you're in, or the other option is to re-roll on a new event. Right, cool. Let's roll the event. So remember, +1. 62. 62. This is ironically one of those situations where, as I read out, the situation doesn't make any sense because we're not exploring a building. 56. Okay, so our dream is haunted by a weird rhythmic chanting in an unknown tongue. When you wake, you can remember the words vividly, even though you have no idea what they mean. Ah, that there. That there is a cult, if ever you've seen one. Does it say anything about increasing the mythos points? Butler's dreams are haunted. Haunted by a weird rhythmic without a T at the start. I'll come back and fix that. No, I won't. Now I've seen it, I can't unsee it. And also, that's not how you spell haunted. By a weird rhythmic chanting in an unknown tongue. When you awake, you can remember the words vividly, even though you have no idea what they mean. I've just remembered that I need to do something. Completely unrelated to the game. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just. I ran out of. I've run out of washing liquid, and I'm making a curry tonight, and so I need washing liquid. Otherwise, I'm going to be in Problemsville. So let me just quickly break all of your immersion and buy some food. Well, not food. Buy some cookies. Not cookies. Let us buy some. Yes, today, 4 until 5. To my house. Yes. What do we need? We need. Well, you know, if it's your thing, it's your thing. We need. Well, we don't need cherry coke, but you know, if they have some, we'll get it. They don't. Tell you what, cherry coke. It's a rare, nay, freak. Oh, we've got a 4-pack of Dr. Pepper though. That's probably enough. We'll do Dr. Pepper instead. We need washing liquid. The big one, please. Platinum Quick Wash. That's not big. I think it's just more expensive. We've added some new words to it, and are expecting a fool like me to purchase it. We need milk. Milk. I need to ask my house human. Oh, someone. Okay, no problem. Thumbs up. One of my. No problemo. No problemo, Duderino. So it's going to be me playing Delta Green again tonight with my chummer, I suspect. So, hooray! More Delta Green. Probably, unless I do something else. Do you like semi-skimmed or fully skimmed milk? What's a semi? I thought it was probably semi, but I just wanted to make sure. Semi-skimmed milk. There we go. probably too much. 4 pints is probably too much. 2 pints is probably enough. And then I need to find £10 more. I tell you one thing we could get: naan, bread. Yeah. Though I do have a problem. I'm sure I mentioned this, that my oven's broken. It's not been fixed yet. Very upsetting. Needs to be bared in mind, folks. Otherwise, I'll forget, and then I'll buy a bunch of naan bread that I can't reheat, and that'll suck. That would suck. But fortunately, I'm pretty sure I could either do it on the surface or I could do it in a cast iron pan. So I bought this cast iron pan ages ago, and it's just too big. I should have bought it about 2 inches smaller, and it would have been fine. But it's way too big. Add some of those. Oh, I like jam tarts. I'll buy myself some jam tarts. And I like apple pies. Crisps. Last time I bought crisps, I got disappointed because they brought me the wrong crisps, which made me very sad. Monster Munch don't count as crisps anyway, do they? No, they don't. Thank you for agreeing with me. Good, yes. Right, purchase. Check out. Mobo. Make sure that I don't say that out loud, because I normally would. I have read. Continued payment details. Yes. Check out. Arrange delivery. Okay, 5 till 6. Confirm. Check out. Confirm. For Gmail. Pay. Is it going to ask me to type in a number on my mobile phone? Because that would be a nuisance, wouldn't it? There we go. The Google Pay option on the Co-op website is well flaky, right? Because you go through and you pay, and then it just sits there. It takes you back to a pay screen, and you're like, "Are we doing anything, machine?" We'll be arriving between 5 and 6. I'm cooking chicken curry tonight. It's going to be exciting. I cook a mean chicken curry. Anyway, sorry. Chanting at night in brain. This is good. So there's a thing somewhere where it tells me this subtly scales upwards in intensity. Add the mythos points to a roll. Oh, when you have exhausted all of these events, you could create your own random tables, standard, or use Grimm's amazing D100 tables. Are well worth a look. Oh. We'll bear that in mind. We will bear that in mind. Mythos points. So again, I kind of think that 1/1d4. I think it's probably scary, right? Maybe on the first night it's not scary. Maybe on the first night it's just unsettling, and we'll make a sanity roll. And he fails his sanity roll. So it's 1d4 minus 2. I presume with a minimum of 0, right? Because I don't like... Oh, 1d4 minus 2. 4, 2. So he takes 2 points of sanity loss. That was unexpected. 62. And our... I have to roll again tomorrow night. So minus sanity minus 2. And... what's for the next one? Mythos points. Mythos points. Alright, 2. So we're now into the morning of calendar 8 time so 8 AM on the 8 AM on the 8th. It's a Wednesday. Morning of the 8th of July. So I think so we've got 4 things. The information from BT, because it's police, that'll probably come in. So the question is, so I think this and the initial toxicology report are probably in, right? Now I think the initial toxicology report won't come in for a couple more days. So, but the BT report is going to be in. Does the BT report have any interesting evidence in it? 6. Yes, so it's got an interesting telephone number. Was it an inbound call? No, it was an outbound call. Okay. So it's a call that's basically not on the list of numbers that Davin gave us. So with that in tow, we can check out who this person is. So, occupation 42. A military commander. Brigadier. That's not how you spell brigadier. Brigadier Archibald Wallace. Retired. Brigadier Archibald Wallace. And we're gonna go modifiers 53. Confused. 84. Monomaniacal. Look, right. Don't blame me if I'm going to have to look something up, just so I can understand exactly what it is. Monomaniacal. 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 Obsessed with a single subject or idea. Okay. So, background question: Is Archibald part of a cult? 6. He is. So let's add on here. 7. Commander, Brigadier Archibald Wallace, part of conspiracy. Is our first interesting character that we've had outside of the initial event. So well, we don't know this yet, right? So we have the phone number and the address, so we will drive to the venue, right? So we're going to drive to Mr. Wallace's house. Again, he lives in the beautiful scenic countryside of the Lake District, and his house has much like Harris's house. It is beautifully presented. There's a nice driveway. The hedges are all beautifully maintained. The trees are all beautifully maintained. There's probably a gardener in the garden who looks at them strangely as they pull up outside of the premises. And they buzz on the buzzer, and yes. Eventually comes after a few moments of waiting. Good. So they'll know. This is Detective Inspector Butler. I'd like to ask you a few questions about. Oh, what about? And he goes, about one Reginald Harris. He's had an unfortunate series of events. Oh, Mister. Oh no! How awful! Oh, please come in. And the door is buzzed, and they drive onto the up to the house and onto the very large parking area. There's a number of beautiful British cars arrayed out front, and classical music playing in the background of the scene as they kind of pull up and they go in, and they're led into a large kind of study. And would you tea, coffee? It's a bit early for brandy, I'm afraid. A tea would be lovely, thank you. Coffee for me, says. He waves his hand to his hired help, and the hired help goes off and arranges cups of tea. Please take a seat. So what's happened to old Reggie? How's he doing? I haven't heard from him in ages. Well, actually, no, wait. Before we do that, that'd be a dead giveaway, right? How is the old chap? It's been he's been very busy with his entire rising up the ranks in the House of Commons and what have you. Hopefully he's going to get a nice seat of the Lords. Well, I mean, anything's possible, of course, says Butler. Unfortunately, he's I don't know how to say this. Clearly, you were close friends, but he's no longer with us. And Mr. Archibald Wallace's face kind of drops in a look of horror and anguish. So we're kind of assuming now that Mr. Wallace's is a co-conspirator. So, and he's probably this is almost certainly a faux look of shock. So we're going to roll a human intelligence roll off of Butler to see if he buys it. He doesn't buy it. So, but he's not letting loose because, of course, he's a detective inspector. He would never simply accuse someone of lying. Visit Wallace's premises. To have a chat. Yes. That's how we were. Yeah, but so yes. He unfortunately took his own life. Oh no, that's terrible. Yes, it is terrible. And something had happened to his family as well. We're currently investigating the situation to see if there's anything untoward going on. Oh, well, I mean, he was always having small episodes. I mean, but you always like to keep these things quiet when, of course, we're talking about someone as reputable and capable as Mr. Harris. Oh, tragic, truly tragic. If there's anything I can do for the family, or that almost certainly won't be necessary unless we're talking about an extended family. Well, I mean, he did, of course, have a sister lives in provides a location. Of course. It's been a while since I've been in touch. Really. And what was it you discussed? Oh, just for kind of the ramblings of happy old people. You know how it is. Okay, now I'm also going to roll. Is there any visual evidence of the occult in the areas of the property that Butler has passed through? No. Okay. Follow up? Oh, no, but... I think that's a but. No, but... No, but he does spot on a table, kind of beneath some papers, Reginald Harris's book, his agenda book, and Butler taps a finger on it, and so what does Mr. Butler do upon seeing it? He turns and goes, oh, that tea and coffee's taking a while. Maybe you should go and have a check. It goes, or something to that effect, right? So this is a persuade roll. 74, so that's a success. So, so, new boy, I've got. Give me a moment, and I'll be right back. And so he takes that moment to quickly go over and have a brief look through the address book. Does he see anything interesting in this book? I think it's kind of likely. So 6, yes. Cool. So in the book, Um, he makes a note of some of the numbers in the book to run through the system later, so that he can find out who they are and what those numbers are. Kind of close to the end of the book is where he's looking, and he also sees some of the strange signs are in the book that he saw at the murder site. And he kind of closes it and slowly covers it back up with some papers and sits down as the door opens. And here it is, and some small cakes as well. Thank you, that's lovely. And they kind of finish their cakes and talk about what a tragedy it all was. And just be sure. And you mentioned his sister. Do you just note down the address? And they note down the address. So where is? And Wellington's like, seemed really cut up. It's a terrible shame that his friend has passed on. And he looks like a really good fellow. I'm sure I've seen him down at a rugby on occasion. And Butler looks at him. Is there anyone you don't know via the rugby? And he shrugs and goes, well, I mean, it's very popular around here. Butler frowns and goes, no, just keep your eyes open. Now, let's see what this location is for the sister. Sister. There's a location. It's right at the back, isn't it? Random events. Location. Table. Well... Mansion room table. General location. City location table. Forest, jungle, Arctic coast, mountain. Hills? Grassland, mountains. We'll go for... what kind of structure is it? 68? 78. A bridge. I don't think you can live in a bridge. 32. Farmhouse. Fair enough. Like everywhere else around here. But the presence of the book, of course, ties Reginald into Wallace into the conspiracy, right? Wallace had Harris's agenda book. Okay. Now then, let's go back to the rock. NPCs. Dice rolls. So let's give us another roll on this table, see what's going on. 57 plus 2, 59. Discovery? Okay. Oh, we should probably have been keeping track of the number of plus points. So we've got a clue, so that's one insight point. Okay. Roll the discovery table. 91. Something you previously presumed about the case turns out to be wrong. The truth regarding this aspect of the case is revealed. 35. Intuition. Right. Skill roll required. Intuition. The skills are slightly different, so... what do we think the equivalent of intuition is? Probably, human intelligence? 30. Right, okay, so whatever it is, we figure it out. What previous assumptions had we made? Well, I guess the main assumption that I'd be making is that it's a cult. Well, it's a conspiracy of some sort. But the investigator hasn't been making any assumptions about that. What have we been assuming? The biggest assumption is that he didn't do it willingly, right? Okay, this is it. This is what the assumption is, right? So, following up, this is it. Okay, right? We go talk to the sister, and the sister is mad as a bag of frogs, right? Let's give a persuade roll. 48. Okay. She's in this farmhouse. She's got a carer. She must be like she's kind of in her 80s, which is weird because Reginald was only in like his late 50s. But you know, maybe something happened there. And he, through the conversation and kind of looking around and talking to her, kind of uncovers that there. Look, she uses some of the words that were in his nightmare, right? And from there, he believes that it occurs to him that he was always part of part of the family, part of and the family had scared her, and she kind of tried to escape, but they caught her and they did this to her. And he's like, what do they do? And she's kind of not nonsensical really, and really what drives. He now believes, because originally he did believe that he did it. Let's make a note of this. So, afternoon of the 8th of July, meets, what's the sister called? Betty. Betty Harris. We should also note on here that Reginald Harris is dead. So 8. We'll add Betty Harris. Sister of Reginald. Disturbed soul. Right. So she uses some of the words that Butler dreamt about, and emphasizes that Reginald was close as part of the family. I'm getting Yog. No, is Yog Shagoff, or is it got a book. Hold on. Drive through. I've got a book. Is it? Is it? Maybe. Let's open this up. Oh, UK Games Expo Award. Isn't that nice? Yeah, Shub Niggurath. Shub Niggurath kind of vibes. Okay, so I also feel that this is kind of a bit of a how does she know the words? He's like, where have you heard of these words before? And she's like, they're part of the family in the dark, in the fields, in the marshes. They live, and their tangled tendrils spread throughout the world, throughout reality, throughout existence. They're inside everything and around all things. Their being spreads and pulls into existence. Reginald was part of a family. They tried to make me part of a family. So we're going to give him another sanity roll, AF50. So doesn't hit him, but I do think it adds +1 mythos points. And now 3. But I think off the back of this that Butler's changed Butler's opinion. Butler now thinks that Reginald was part of a broader conspiracy. Because of course he's still thinking in terms of conspiracies, right? Because he doesn't believe in the supernatural. And rightly so, rightly so. So this is probably taken us through to about probably to about midday. No, late in the day, right? So we're into the evening. So he gets back from that into the evening. Let's roll again on this table. Fiddlesticks. 65 plus 3, 68. So danger. $67. The weight of all you've discovered, make a sanity roll. If things have been bad. The weight of all you've discovered weighs down on you. Make a sanity roll if things have been bad. I don't think this is anything so far that is above and beyond his normal job. I mean, it's a bit grimmer than most of his work, but it's not too terrible. So I think he's still fine. And he will. What will he do next? So he's spoken to the sister. Did the sister give him a location? No, what he's going to do is he's going to go to the public library in Chiswick to find the family records. So, does he find the family records? I think this is 50-50. No, the public records, the family records are missing. And he goes to find out from the public record keeper why the records are missing. So this is just to see. That's kind of like a new scene. So all right, we should also the evening. evening of the 8th of July. Butler check on the Butler goes to check on the public records of the family of the Harris family, but they are missing. So an NPC acts. So we've got 1 through 8, so we're going to roll a d10. 5. Sally Wiseman, that's the reporter. What's she going to do? Well, she's probably one step behind us, right? So she's gone to Archibald's property. Does Archibald kidnap her to do weird culty things? So I'm going to say this is likely. So 3 and above is he does. 2, he doesn't. Fine. Nothing happens. He just stonewalls her, and she's fine, perfectly safe. Nothing bad has happened. She just thinks he's a bit weird. Does she find out anything more interesting? So again, I'm going to say this is a likely roll. Right? 6. So she does. Technically speaking, that 6 should have been the and. But hey, whatever. I keep forgetting to roll the second dice. So she finds out something new. At the same time, Sally talks to Wallace. And discovers something new. Is it mundane? So 50-50. 1 second. Sorry about that. Drain cleaner. Very exciting. Very exciting. So that roll, was it mundane? Yes. Yes, it was mundane. So I don't know if we care. Right. So the person in charge of the records comes back. And, oh yes, before the records were kept in smaller parish offices, and I believe that the one where the records for the Harris family, if they check their records, yes, that was in a local premises that was burnt down. It's a small abandoned village, you know, one of the ones that kind of they got rid of in after the First World War, because it was just not enough population left to run it. There was an old colliery nearby, and it had long since run out of materials. Yes, so that's why they're not there. So on this. Records were lost in a fire at a now And now abandoned village. Since the First World War, right? Okay, so based off the back of that, it's the evening now. Butler, of course, goes back to bed. I mean, he goes back home. Now. So I want to roll on this table again whilst he's back at home. 67. So something happens again. This is random event table towards the back. Here we go. And we add our Mythos points to this, so it's plus 3. 38. So whilst he's in the records, he finds the map of this village, and he decides, whilst in the records, he finds a map of the old village in a folder. What would it have been called? Well, let's ask Google. Huh? Wow, that's impressive. Abandoned Welsh village. The eerie abandoned Welsh village that has been bloopity bloopity bloop, been reclaimed, whatever. What's it called? Where is the lost village in Wales? What's the most isolated village in Wales? Inside the film. Oh, there we go. Probably better if I just go abandoned settlements. The Lost Lake District Village. It appears whenever there is a heat. Oh, right, this is the one that's under the water, right? We won't use that one, but there's bound to be some more. Buttermere. 2 old settlements were abandoned at the same time. One at Scales, near Scale Force, and one at Peely Place. Oh, this one. Frelkeld. Continue. What have we got here? Frelkeld. Frelkeld is a small village 4 miles under the shadow. History goes back to oh no, there's people still live there. That's not where. It's not what we're looking for. No. let's just call it. We'll take this one, right? Let's just take well, let's just call it Ranadale. There we go. It could be this this one, right? Ranadale. I mean, it was an abandoned medieval village, but we're not making a history channel. It's fine. The history police aren't going to run out and go, you there, yes, you used the name of the village. If it was a medieval village, it wasn't another village, and you'll be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. So the question is, he'll phone Wellington and have Wellington meet him there in the morning. Phones Wellington, has him meet him at the village in the morning. And also we'll have so we'll say that Sally found out about this village as well. Sally will also arrive in the morning. The village via a different route. Butler has his nightmares again, so we're going to give him another roll on sanity for his nightmare. Oh, why are my dice not working properly? That's weird. My dice had gone black. Success. So I say he loses 1 point of sanity, and I think the Mythos rating goes up to 4. Sanity, Mythos points 4. Okay, and now that pretty much brings us to the end of the day. So this is interesting. What's going on? What are we going to find? What are we going to find in Ranadale? What are we going to find in Ranadale? That's the question. Cool. Well, that was exciting. I now need to think about what I'm running tonight. If I only have one person. Well, we'll find out. Oh, Logitech G Hub battery is critical. Critical. Look, it's flashing red and everything. That's fine. I will. Honestly, these keyboards, man, awful battery life on them. But I'll address that and solve that problem, and we'll find out what's happening to Butler and Co. Now, also, what are we going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think. I was thinking about running. I was thinking about doing some stuff with the Borderlands, but I think I might run the castle, Camadale Keep. Because the other thing is, right, so I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to use because I've got it, right. So I've got these that I want to use, right, for something. Because these are pretty cool, right? They're too big, but I think it's cool. And they're double-sided, right? So there's 2 maps here. I almost feel like cutting them all in half so that I can easily use them in this space. So these are cool, and yeah, double-sided as noted. So I'd quite like to use those for something, but I don't know what. I'll have to think. So these are cool because I've also got all these, right? If you remember, I've got these and I've got these. So I want to do something with them. So maybe, I don't know, I'm looking for a system that isn't 5e and just irritates me, but also isn't OSR. Something in between. I was hoping that the new Critical Role game would be a bit like that, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. So I'm going to have to sit down and have a think about how I can bring together the idea of slightly more powerful, more heroic characters on the one hand, and the simple procedural universe of the OSR on the other hand. So that's something I'm thinking about. The other thing that I might do tomorrow, I might book in a second session to do some more Cyberpunk, but we'll see. And yeah, no chatters today. Now that I've sorted out my live chat positioning, no one's going to come again. But you know, when they do, if they do, we can see them, and hopefully it won't get lost this time like last time. So yeah, I want to use these as something very cheap as well. In the grand scheme of things, as far as I'm concerned, very cheap. Someone who accidentally spent £100 on Cyberpunk Red stuff for Roll20, despite hating Roll20. Yeah. So that's a thing. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, everybody. We will talk again in the future. And be good. Have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Slime you later, little buddies.